Hey guys, what's going on? Jeb here, and in today's video, we're going to be discussing the Bitcoin bull market that's going to be coming here in 2019 and moving on into 2020. Because in this video, I want to discuss specifically that bull market, and I specifically want to address people who believe that that bull market is not coming this year or that it's not going to come at all. I haven't seen very many people lately disagree with the idea that a Bitcoin bull market is on the horizon, but this video is specifically targeted at the few that still believe that Bitcoin is either going to go back to or below $3,000 or back down to or below the 200 weekly moving average down here around $3,300 right now. I do still think that there are some people that believe that Bitcoin is still quite bearish. So in today's video, I'm going to be addressing you in particular, and I'm going to be explaining exactly why I believe, and the technical analysis seems to prove, that a Bitcoin bull market, if all else stays the same, is coming here in 2019. So guys, without much further ado, let's go ahead and get right on into it. The first thing that I want to discuss is just how bullish Bitcoin has been here over the last several months. Bitcoin, ever since February the 8th, over here in February, early 2019, has been very bullish. We've moved up 60% in the last 83 days or so. That is a very good sign for Bitcoin because we've never seen a rally that long in the duration of a bear market, at least not in a very long time. We've not seen a rally that long or anything close to it here in the 2018 bear market. In fact, the last time that we saw a rally that long was back over here in 2017 when Bitcoin ran from $3,000 to $20,000, a 500% increase in price. Bitcoin ran for 95 days, and that was at the end of a bull market. The fact that Bitcoin has been in a rally for 83 days now and still doesn't seem to want to correct, considering the fact that it had a pretty opportune moment a couple days ago and decided not to, that shows just how strong, exuberant, and confident the Bitcoin bulls are. And that does show you that the vast majority of people in the market do believe that a Bitcoin bull market is coming, and they're making their trades based on it. So let's go ahead and keep diving into this. One of the next things I want to discuss is 2015 and what exactly happened back in this accumulation phase before the previous before the previous bull market that we saw in 2016 and 17. Bitcoin back in 2015 ran into a rally, and there were a lot of technical indicators that we'll talk about later on in the video, went into a downtrend, then into another rally again, and then kicked off a bull market. Now, there is one counter to what I've talked about in a lot of videos, because in a lot of videos I've been saying that Bitcoin has gone on a rally, now it needs to correct, and then we'll go on another rally and start a bull market. But I do want to point something out. Back in 2015, people were not as hyped for a new Bitcoin bull market as they are now. Bitcoin went into an uptrend, failed, and then went into an uptrend that went into a bull market. But lately, everybody, including myself, has been talking about how Bitcoin is in this uptrend right here, in this rally right here, and because of that, everybody seems to believe that a Bitcoin bull market is coming. And for good reason. I believe that also, or I wouldn't be making this video. I believe a Bitcoin bull market is coming, but I do also still believe that we're right here. But you have to keep in mind that even though the technical analysis says that we're right here, sometimes Bitcoin is going to break market structure and do something that you don't expect. It is possible that Bitcoin goes ahead and breaks out of its levels, breaks above its levels of resistance around $6,000, and instead of waiting for this second rally, Bitcoin starts a bull market here in the next couple of weeks and rallies up to $6,000 and breaks it. It is possible that because of all the hype and all of the excitement that people have, and all the certainty in the space that people have that a Bitcoin bull market is coming, that they would then be more comfortable buying Bitcoin now and pushing Bitcoin up through $6,000 and starting a new bull market. That is something you want to keep in mind, is the overall sentiment of the market. It's very important for you to understand not just the technical analysis in Bitcoin, but also the sentiment in the market. What do the majority of people believe is going to happen? What are the majority of people doing in the market? And how do the majority of people view the market? That's a very important thing. It's hard to quantify. There's not really a good technical indicator for that. You might point to the fear, greed, misery index, and you may point to other indices like that. But in general, it's kind of difficult to pinpoint exactly what the sentiment in the market is. It's something that you're going to have to build up through your gut feeling over the course of your technical analysis and your trading and investing career. A couple of other things I want to discuss have to do with moving averages. One of them would have to do with the 200 weekly moving average that I discussed at the beginning of this video. This is one of the most important moving averages in Bitcoin technical analysis, and the reason for that is very clear. Bitcoin came down here, garnered support on it, and back over here in January and February, I was discussing the potential ramifications of a Bitcoin bear market continuing if Bitcoin did actually fall below that uptrending level of that moving average. If Bitcoin fell below the 200 weekly moving average, that would be very bad for Bitcoin. And the reason for that is because in 2015, Bitcoin came down and tested this moving average many, many times. And in fact, if you look back into the history of Bitcoin, Bitcoin has never once gone below the 200 weekly moving average. And if we look into other markets such as the S&P 500, when a market moves below the 200 weekly moving average, typically that is indicative of some kind of bear market. And that would mean that Bitcoin has never actually been in a true bear market. Now, that's one way that you can analyze it. That's one thing that a lot of people will say. I'll just say that we move the 200 moving average to the daily chart and then use it that way because Bitcoin moves faster than something like the stock market. Nevertheless, that's not really the point of this video. The point I'm trying to make is that Bitcoin has not gone below the 200 weekly moving average, and the last time that Bitcoin came down and tested the 200 weekly moving average back in 2015, not long after a Bitcoin bull market started. Bitcoin has come down and tested the 200 weekly moving average, and we're quite far away from it right now, and that would be indicative of the idea that a Bitcoin bull market is coming. One more thing I want to point out is the other moving average sitting on our chart right here. That would be the 50 weekly moving average. Bitcoin came up here and tested this moving average once back in July of 2015. Didn't get above it, didn't break out of it. We saw a downtrend, then we saw an uptrend, and when Bitcoin started uptrending, that moving average had moved far enough to the downside that Bitcoin was able to break above that 50 weekly simple moving average. When it did, that was right around the time of the confirmation of a Bitcoin bull market. Bitcoin is sitting right below that level right now, guys. I want you to understand that. Bitcoin is sitting right below this 50 weekly moving average. If Bitcoin gets above this, that would indicate the beginning of a bull market. There are several different technical indicators that I use to determine when a bull market has started, and use those as confirmation of a Bitcoin bull market starting. One of them is the 50 weekly moving average. If Bitcoin gets above that, that's one of the first dominoes to fall in a Bitcoin bull market and with it starting. If Bitcoin gets above this, that would be one of the technical confirmations of a Bitcoin bull market. And it looks like that may happen relatively soon. It may happen this week, guys. We're talking about things that are not very far away. We're not talking about what's going to happen in 2020 or 2025 or 2030. We're not talking about that. We're talking about what's going to happen in the next couple of months. I'm recording this on May the 2nd. If you're watching this way off in the future, we're recording this on May the 2nd. And I believe by the end of the summer, we're probably going to see confirmation of a Bitcoin bull market. At least by the end of the year, we will. Now, continuing on, one of the other things I want to discuss has to do with the weekly RSI. So let's go ahead and bring this up right here. The weekly RSI is something that is very, very interesting. You oftentimes don't see technical indicators be this similar to themselves over the course of their entire history, but this is exactly what we've seen right here on the Bitcoin RSI. We're going to turn log off, actually. But what we've seen here on the Bitcoin RSI on the weekly chart is that this level right here around 58 has been remarkably important for Bitcoin in its entire history. For its entire history, this has been a very important level. Bitcoin started getting support on this level back over here and defining this all the way back in 2011. What were you guys doing in 2011? I'm sure a lot of you guys were in school in 2011. Bitcoin was getting resistance on it right over here. Resistance, support, support, support. Bitcoin broke down below it, got support. Broke down below it, got a level of, that you just saw me flinch there, I'm sorry. Bitcoin broke down and got a level of resistance right there. Bitcoin got resistance on the level right there. Support, 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 support on through the 2016 bear market. And then we see Bitcoin come up and get support, or excuse me, resistance again. And now what we're seeing is that Bitcoin is coming up and getting resistance once more. Bitcoin is sitting right below this level. And Bitcoin does seem like it very well may break through it. And interestingly enough, if you look back and you do some analysis on this market, what you'll find is that when Bitcoin is above this level, Bitcoin is in a bull market. Right around here is where the Bitcoin bull market started. When Bitcoin's below this level, it is in a bear market. Right around here is where the Bitcoin bear market started. When Bitcoin is above this level, Bitcoin is in a bull market. When Bitcoin is below this level, Bitcoin is in a bear market and or accumulation phase. That is what I want to point out. When Bitcoin is below this level, we're in a bear market. When we're above it, we're in a bull market. And Bitcoin is very, very close to breaching this, guys. Bitcoin will likely be above 60 in the next couple of weeks if Bitcoin does continue moving up to $6,000 right now. And by the way, some short-term technical analysis that we haven't really covered in today's video. Bitcoin not breaking below that uptrend of support like I expected it to definitely does give me a lot more confidence in the bulls. Now, to be fair, Bitcoin isn't moving up the fastest right here, but I don't want to harp on pedantics like that. Bitcoin is moving to the upside. Bitcoin did test uptrending levels of support. Bitcoin did not break below it, and Bitcoin is once again moving to the upside. So this is a bullish sign. If Bitcoin can get above this level of resistance here at around 53.50, I do expect that Bitcoin very well may run up to $6,000. There's still a big part of me in the back of my mind, based on the technical analysis, that expects a downtrend sometime before the Bitcoin bull market starts. But it wouldn't surprise me at this point if Bitcoin did continue rallying to the upside. But I do want to keep talking about technical indicators that are predicting the Bitcoin bull market. Another one would have to do with the 20-weekly exponential moving average. This is a very important moving average and one that I have discussed at length in very, very many videos. I've probably discussed this moving average in more than 50 videos on the channel because it's so very important. In fact, the last video in the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy is on the 20 exponential moving average on any time frame. This interval, this moving average is very important on the hourly chart, the 4-hourly chart, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, etc. But right now we want to look at the weekly. What we saw in 2014 is that Bitcoin was, for most of the bear market, below this level. When it was below it, we were pretty much in a bear market. We did see Bitcoin get above it for a little bit here. Nothing really to write home about there. You guys like when I say that. Bitcoin did get above this level for a time here when we were in this little rally before the actual bull market. But, of course, Bitcoin fell back below it. But when Bitcoin did inevitably get above that level here on the 20-weekly exponential moving average, Bitcoin started a bull market and would not go back below that level until the bull market was over back in February of 2018. Bitcoin fell below it on, well, actually January 29th candlestick, we fell below it. And Bitcoin never really managed to get back up above this level. Bitcoin bounced up above it, but basically got resistance in the same zone as that moving average. The last couple of days, the last couple of weeks, really, Bitcoin has managed to get up above that level. We've been above the 20 exponential moving average for quite some time. We've, in fact, been above the 20 exponential moving average for, I think, longer almost than Bitcoin was back over here in this rally. One of the last times that Bitcoin was above the 20 exponential moving average for this long, Bitcoin was in a bull market running up to $20,000. That is very significant, and I want you guys to understand how important it is that Bitcoin is above this moving average and above several other moving averages that we're not going to get to in today's video, like the 100 weekly, I believe, is one of the ones I'm thinking about. This is an important indicator that a Bitcoin bull market is coming. The way that Bitcoin is interacting with all of these technical indicators, especially on the longer term time frames, because a lot of times what you'll find is the longer term time frames weed out a lot of the intraday noise that you'll have from a whale buying Bitcoin or someone manipulating the market or a news event changing the direction of Bitcoin. When you're looking at it on the weekly chart, a lot of that stuff is gone and is just pure technical analysis. The market follows its technical indicators very, very, very well. And it has been doing that for a very long time. Bitcoin respects the technical indicators in a bearish way when it's in a Bitcoin bear market. Bitcoin respects the technical indicators in a very neutral way when it's in an accumulation phase. And when Bitcoin is entering a bull market, Bitcoin does several very specific things. And that's why we can use those interactions with technical indicators as confirmations of Bitcoin bullishness and the start of a Bitcoin bull market. So guys, that is what I wanted to discuss in today's video. And I wanted to point out to you that Bitcoin is entering a bull market. Bitcoin will be entering a bull market this year, most likely, like 98% chance that Bitcoin enters a bull market this year. If it doesn't, it's almost certainly coming in 2020. With that said, I do want to hedge what I just said and say that if something comes out of left field and the European Union bans Bitcoin or Bitcoin gets banned in America or someone hacks Bitcoin, they put together $100 billion worth of mining machines and hacks Bitcoin and does a 51% attack. If something like that happens, of course, Bitcoin very well may not enter a bull market. But if everything goes well, and if everything goes according to plan, and everything continues going the way that it's been going so far in 2019, I think with basically beyond a shadow of a doubt, a Bitcoin bull market will be started and confirmed here in 2019. So guys, tell me in the comment section down below what you think. Right now, this is what the technical indicators are saying. This is what everybody is predicting, so it's not like I'm just coming out of left field and saying, a Bitcoin bull market is coming, get ready, even though I don't have any evidence. There is a mountain of evidence pointing this out. So guys, tell me in the comment section down below, what do you think? Is Bitcoin about to enter a bull market? Is Bitcoin going to be entering the bull market before the end of the summer? I think it's very possible that Bitcoin enters the bull market before August begins. I think that is very possible, and it wouldn't really surprise me if Bitcoin did that. So tell me in the comment section down below, like I said, what you think about that. And by the way, guys, the Easter 2019 sale is over. You guys had an absolute blast with that sale because so many of you guys joined. Guys, I believe we had about 108 of you guys join the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy in the month of April. That is so incredibly humbling, and I thank each and every single one of you who decided to join. There will be more sales in the future, but I do want you guys to understand that since I'm always adding more content to the Cryptocurrency Technical Analysis Academy, the price of the course is going to be rising to $199 instead of $149 in the next 2 months. It may happen this month. I don't know exactly when because I haven't gotten the exact plans nailed down as to when those new videos are going to be going out in the course, to be fully transparent with you. But that will be coming within the next 2 months. So if you guys are looking to get into CT2A, we're not running a sale right now, but you could almost view it as if we're running a 25% sale because that course price is going to be going up. And by the way, guys, it's very much worth every single penny, even at the price of $200. I would be fine selling it at $400. It's worth every single penny. So anyway, guys, that is going to do it for today's video. I do want to thank each and every single one of you for watching, as always, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.